now I want to talk about 9/11. I want to talk about some of the heroes. I'm going to talk a few different. I'm going to talk around 9/11, not exactly what happened. I think we all know what happened. It's been 20 years, right? There's been some tragedies that I've reported on over my life, and one of them was 13 service members being killed a couple weeks back, and I was crushed. One of them was a new father, or a soon to be 3 weeks away from being a dad, and I just broke, and I hate seeing it. I don't want to see death. I don't want to see anyone dying. Of course, death is a part of life. I've been around plenty of death. One of my best friends in high school died at such a young age. Terrible tragedy. And then my own uncle got shot in his chest and murdered in front of his entire family. Like I've dealt with some heavy stuff in my life. So death is something that comes for us all eventually. And 9/11, regardless of what you think of the conspiracy theory, who caused it, whether the FBI helped or not, which we'll talk about it. The tragedy of it remains that there were people that died that day that shouldn't have, that were innocent, that didn't do anything to the people that caused this, whoever it may be. And it was clearly caused by, extremists, right? But before so there's a few different angles I'm going to be talking about it. And first and foremost, I want to talk about how Joe Biden was asked not to show up. Don't come, the family said. Kamala Harris, famous lines. We don't want you here. They didn't want him because he claimed he was going to release the documents, unclassify them, or declassify them rather. All the 9/11 papers, the information that they have. And of course, he waited until last Friday, that's right, just a week ago, to declassify them. And are you able to read them now? No, he gave it 6 months. So they have 6 months to release the information. And that's such a cop-out. Had he came right into office and said, boom, one of my promises. I mean, coming through with any one of his promises. The dude was on live saying last year that he won't be mandating anything if he becomes president, vaccine-wise. And we all know how that went. But that's different. He waited until a week before, after they were super angry at him, and asking him not to come because Joe Biden, it was a disgrace to them. He lied. And he went back on his word. And then we have this too. Son of 9/11 victim tells shameful President Biden not to show his face at Ground Zero Memorial after botched Afghan withdrawal. It's nonstop. We don't have to get into that, but it's like, I don't think there's anyone there that actually wants him there. There's countless families. I've read so many different articles about how the families of the people that have died there do not want him there. They do not want Biden there. So, of course, this is from a couple days back. Biden's to visit New York City on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Then Shanksville, then Pentagon. They're doing their rounds. Getting those photo ops. Got to go to those places and make sure that they are seen mourning. Biden doesn't care about these people. Jill Biden doesn't care about these people. No. I don't believe them. I'm sorry, I don't believe them anymore. I don't believe you Democrats. I think you guys lie. I think you manipulate. I think you want communism. I think you're trying to... You might be working for China, you might not. I don't know. But I don't trust you, bottom line. This is bonkers that these people are actually just going to do it. They don't care about what these families asked. If he really cared, he wouldn't go. And he would make a statement saying, look, I waited too long. I did release the papers, but all of these families have requested I don't show up, and I'm gonna respect them and not show up. But I wanted everyone to know it's not because I don't want to go. It's because I respect the people that are mad at me for going against what I said. I did release the papers, but they got to wait 6 months. They wanted it before the 20th anniversary. That was the whole point. And he didn't do it. That's what he should have done. But instead, no, you got to go get your photo op, don't you? Goodness sakes. He plans to fly into the Big Apple around 9 p.m. Friday and stay at a Midtown hotel overnight before holding a ceremony at 9/11 Memorial and Museum at 8:30 a.m. Saturday morning, according to law enforcement sources and the White House schedule. He'll commemorate the anniversary of the tragic events with a moment of silence at 8:46. The minute the first plane crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, the sources said, "Oh man, that's so sweet of you, Biden." I'm sure all of the families are going to be focused on that and not focused on the fact that you do not care about them and that you're just openly disregarding all of their feelings for your optics. Such a shame. This man should be ashamed of himself. He does not deserve the seat of the President of the United States. I'll tell you that. I mean, this stuff gets crazy. Now I want to talk about who did it and why. I mean, I think we know why. We were warned. There was a famous Afghani that was killed, I believe, the same day or maybe the day before because he was trying to warn America that the attacks were coming. But now we're seeing a shift. Virginia public schools to focus on Muslims as victims in teaching about 9/11 on attacks of the 20th anniversary. That's right. They're talking about how Muslims as a whole are taking the heat for it. They're not differentiating the fact that they were extremists that made the attack, not Muslims as a whole, but they're claiming, well, everyone now hates Muslim. No way, that's ridiculous. Freedom of religion in this country. If you're Muslim, good for you. Like, I'm proud that you have something that you can, that helps you in your life, okay? These attacks were based on extremists. And they were, hold on, I just want to get the word correctly. Islamic jihadists is like the more accurate attempts. So the video is narrated by a hijab-wearing woman, Amira Dakur, who describes herself as a professional lecturer, School of Education, American University, and Paragon Education Consulting president. My goodness, what a tongue twister. This is it. They're just This boils down to them going, these people are racist. It's like, no, you're the one saying it's all Muslims. Nobody else said that. Not even Trump. They're the ones who called it a Muslim ban. He was banning specific countries where terrorists were coming out of. It had nothing to do with being Muslim. Everyone, oh my God, I'm so frustrated. I'm so annoyed at the talking head talking points that they keep regurgitating. It's just filth. They're just, they're like little chicky birds. And the mainstream media, the main narrative is being shoved down their throats. And then they're going around like regurgitating it to others. And it's like, I don't want that crap. I know what happened. All right. I saw his speech. I listened to the man myself. I don't need your regurgitated talking points. But this is ridiculous. Anti-Muslim racism. It's like, no. When people think about 9/11, they think about some extremists that, like Al-Qaeda or, ISIS. They're not thinking Muslims. I'll speak for myself. I don't, right? I think of Al Qaeda, which didn't we defeat Al Qaeda? Didn't we defeat ISIS? Yeah, it's ISK now, so it's a different faction, right? It's not in Iraq and Syria anymore. But yeah, we defeated Al Qaeda, and why were we still in Afghanistan? Why did we wait this long? Huh? I don't think Trump could have even gotten out of Afghanistan if he tried. And the way Biden did it, I mean, I've been there. I've done that. My. Okay. But check this. This is where it gets this came out a week ago, September 4th. This week. It came out this week. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this. Former FBI agent says the 9/11 hijackers had US-based support. This is from New York Post. My goodness. At least 2 of the 9/11 hijackers probably had a US-based support network, according to a former FBI agent. Danny Gonzalez worked on Operation Encore, the still secret investigation into 2 Saudi hijackers that were based in San Diego. Gonzalez told CBS News he's confident the records of that operation will show the hijackers had help. 19 hijackers cannot commit 3,000 mass murders by themselves, Gonzalez told the network. President Biden signed an executive order last Friday, a week ago, the Department of Justice to oversee a declassification review of the documents related to the 9/11 attacks. Oh, that's right. Excuse me, I got that wrong. He didn't declassify the documents. He had an executive order to have the Department of Justice oversee the declassification review of some documents. Not all, not any. A review to see which ones could be released. Joe Biden, let me remind you that the families wanted all of the stuff. They want everything. They want to know who killed their families, who was involved, what really went down, because they're still looking for answers 20 years later. Jeez. And then, of course, it says, after pressure from families of victims who are demanding to know if Saudi Arabia helped the hijackers, the Department of Justice must release any declassified documents in the next 6 months. Some records pertain to Operation Encore, which began 2 years after the commission's report. Gonzalez said the public would learn a lot if records from Operation Encore were released, and that it would change the public's understanding of 9/11. What the heck does that mean? I'm pretty sure I understand it. I mean, I've seen Zeitgeist. I've seen like the conspiracy side of things, and how did Building 7 fall down, and where did the plane go at the Pentagon? I don't know. I'm not saying I don't believe it, but I'd like to know the full situation, or where that $2 trillion went missing in the exact room that they were counting it when the plane hit that exact room. I mean, there's some weird things that revolve around that whole situation. But this is a former FBI agent saying, like, man, the public's understanding of what happened would totally change. Like, well, I want to know. But he continues. He said 2 hijackers, Nawaf Hazmi and Khalid al-Mihdhar, were helped by a number of Saudis, including Omar al-Bayoumi. Bayoumi, who was working for the Saudi government, has said he randomly met 2 hijackers at a restaurant in LA and encouraged them to move to San Diego. He helped them find apartments and open bank accounts. The 2 hijackers even started flight school nearby. Look at that. Gonzalez says he can't reveal certain classified information about Operation Encore per FBI orders, nor can another former agent, Ken Williams, who wrote a memo before 9/11 that warned potential terrorists were taking flight lessons in Arizona. Quote, the evidence is there. I've seen it, but I can't get into specifics because of the protective order. Williams said both former agents are now working for the families as investigators. He says, I can't sit on the sidelines when I know the truth. I wonder if he at least told the families. Probably not. He'd probably be taken out. The 9/11 families are suing Saudi Arabia, though the Saudis deny official involvement. and the 9/11 Commission report found no connection. The Commission report also found that Bayoumi was an unlikely candidate for clandestine involvement with Islamist extremists, and said that there was no credible evidence that he believed in violent extremism or knowingly aided extremist groups. You know what? All this makes me think is Joe Biden's botched withdrawal of Afghanistan, and Jen Psaki saying it was the biggest airlift in history. In fact, it wasn't. Okay, I believe that was something to do with India. I don't remember exactly. It was like 1998 or 1988, or it was in the past, and it was like 150,000 people or something, some crazy amount. But what they're not adding into when they're saying largest airlift ever, they're not talking about a lot of these people aren't vetted. That they sent an email and said, here, print this visa and show it when you arrive to get on the plane. It's like, we don't know who we let into the country. We don't know who's coming over the border in Texas every day. We're not vetting these people. No one's vetting these people. And Jen Psaki has the gall to be like, that's correct. Next. Not even answering. We do not know. There's still hundreds of people that have yet to be vetted that have come back from Afghanistan. How do we know there's no sleeper cells? You know, these things exist. These people exist. Okay. Now I want to switch optics here. Switch my focus, right? Because regardless of all the things that I just said, that I was talking about 9/11, what really remains is the fact that there were heroes that showed up, that heard the bell ringing, threw their fire suit on, and went down to try to save people. Here's a thread from Janice Dean. Now, her husband is a firefighter, or was a firefighter. Tomorrow, on the 20th anniversary of September 11th, our family will be visiting my husband's firehouse, where they lost all the men on duty that day. All. Here are the faces of Engine 40, Ladder 35, who ran bravely towards the danger into burning towers to try and save the others. Gentlemen, I salute you. Thank you very much. You are heroes. Ken Bracken, Captain Frank Callahan, Michael D'Oria, Bruce Gary, Jimmy Giberson, Lieutenant John Ginley, Michael Lynch, Dan Marshall, Stephen Mercado, Vincent Morello, Michael Otten, and Michael Roberts. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your sacrifice. Thank you for rushing into those fires to try to save people. And you lost your lives, but I appreciate your service. You should be remembered. Not all these conversations on who did it. These are the men that we need to remember. She continues. Here she wrote their names out. And you could see them. Actually, this is the day that they were scheduled. You know, this is their group. Carry a chalk. Here was a picture taken a few months after September 11th for a Vanity Fair piece about the surviving firefighters of the FDNY Engine 40 Ladder 35. The writer was David Halberstam, the photographer, Jonas Carlson, and her husband, Sean, is on the far right. I'm assuming that's this guy right here. Thank you, gentlemen. I know it's awfully somber because of why you were meeting, why you were getting your picture taken, because you lost brothers that day. Our friend Ray Pfeiffer is standing next to him on the left. We lost Ray to 9/11 related cancer, but he fought while he was sick to ensure fellow first responders would have access to health care. Man. Ray Pfeiffer, thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. I'm going to get him. Here we are. Look at that man. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your service. We miss him, but his legacy lives on with his family and Ray Pfeiffer FDTN. Let's see what that is. A foundation. Nice. Nonprofit helping first responders sick from 9/11 with medical needs not covered by insurance. 343 members of the FDNY made the supreme sacrifice. 343 of heroes died that day trying to save others. 257 have died of the World Trade Center illnesses since then. They continue to honor those lost through 2 decades of vigilance and precautions against terrorism. God bless them, their families, and the fire department of the New York City. And you know what? And shout out to Jon Stewart. I don't know if you know this, but he fought the entire time to get these men the service that they need. Look, I'm a taxpayer. I pay my taxes. I would much rather pay for the health insurance of these heroes than pay for Taliban to have weapons, billions of dollars in weapons. Huh? Just me. I like to speak for myself. What I would do, I can't speak for others, as most people should speak for themselves, and just that. But I would much prefer my money go to these brave people who have lost their lives or are still sick from 20 years ago, because I'm sure they're still out there dealing with complications because they chose to throw caution in the wind and dive headfirst into those flames to save people. That's who we need to be honoring tomorrow. So, if you have a moment of silence, think about, yes, there were people that were innocent and that were killed, but even more so, there were heroes that tried to save them.